Alright guys, welcome back to the channel. So you guys can see we have turbos on, and if you guys didn't check it out in the last video, we did quite a bit of work on this thing, but we're gonna be finishing up on quite a bit of a bunch of other little things that need to go back on the engine, and then we'll be getting this thing back in there. Alright, so we're gonna make a quick trip, get a bunch of replacement lines for these. We're gonna take this, get this power wash.
This is just to get a little example for the fitting that I need to get to cap these off.
Oh, see more. Yeah, there we have it. And then back here, we have the transmission already reassembled onto the engine itself. This R pipe ended up having to cut. We're gonna have to cut off this part of it because these, basically when they're going like here, they're gonna hit against the balloon, that balloon shaped part. So that's getting some work done right now, but this is where we're at. We're also gonna be replacing a bunch of these clamps. So you can tell this one's kind of burned from whoever owned it before. And then we're gonna get all these in black, swap all of these out. So I'll keep these as backups, but you know, the blue doesn't really go with anything on the car. That's why I wanna swap those out. And then Rudy's supplying us with some degreaser because this thing desperately needs it. Look at all that. It's all gunky and nasty. Yeah, we're gonna get this washed up as well and then bring it all back with all the new hoses, new clamps, and we should be good to go. These lines we did want to replace because they're pretty old. We're not sure, you know, the condition of them, so better safe than sorry and just replace these. These are the oil feed lines, so we're gonna get those replaced. Here at G&J Aircraft and Precision Products. So we're gonna get a majority of the couplings and new lines.
I got this stuff I gotta take it. Oh, okay. No problem. You know, two of those is black.
Alright, getting some degreaser. We're gonna power wash all this out. So we just got back from G&J and AutoZone because we picked up some new O2 sensors for the G. So right now, I'm gonna clean this up, get it all power washed, and head back to the shop. All right, so we are back at the shop and we got new replacement lines. Look at this thing, all washed up, looking almost brand new. But we also have, there we go, little quick comparison, the old oil lines, oil feed lines, and the new ones. You can tell they kind of reduced the size too. Look at all these random ass fittings, and now look at all these new ones. So new oil lines for the turbos, and then we also do have the new power steering line. Look at this. Thing's gonna go right here, looking way better than the other thing that we have over here, which is this thing. Yeah. Let me see that. Let's compare it. Yeah. This stainless steel braided line or this power steering with the sensor. We're not gonna have the sensor anymore, but that shouldn't be a problem. So we're also gonna be plugging this thing up on this. We're not gonna be using the little openings on this one, and I think the ones right there. So we're not gonna be using those. We're gonna be plugging those up and then plugging this one out. We're gonna to press on little nipple is gonna get pulled out right now.
Yeah, we're gonna remove this coolant port. We're gonna tap it. We're gonna end up putting a plug on it.
So there you guys go.
So this is gonna be removed. It's gonna be a nice flat surface, and then just throw this in there. Yep. Cap it off.
Or a quick pass with the wire brush to make it look good too. But there we have it. Bolts, washers, all that's needed. so this is where we're at right now. We kind of mocked up the whole piping on there along with the black clamps. We've been swapping those out slowly, and we had to actually make a second run to get more clamps because some of them weren't the right size. This one's gonna be for the throttle body, so we ended up missing one. So this one's for the throttle body, and then all the piping for the inlet for the turbos basically go right there and pop outward. Were all the wrong sizes, so now we got all the right sizes right here. A new silicone hose for the power steering. We got a braid. This hose we're not gonna be using anymore. We got a stainless steel braided hose that we're gonna be using now. And then we got the more clamps. They didn't have any chrome fittings, so we're gonna use these black ones for that braided heater hose. And we got some more fittings for the oil lines because some of the threading was wrong, so we got that replaced. But other than that, we're gonna finish putting this back together, and engine should be going in today. All right, so this is where we're at. We got down pipes right here, turbos on. So we're basically getting ready to put the engine back in. Look at that. Only problem back here is our pipes are looking like they're not gonna fit. So technically these wastegates are supposed to, you unbolt this little exhaust part, and they're supposed to go in like right there. How you guys see that? That's technically how they're supposed to go. But this one has the extensions, so the wastegates end up down here, which gives easier access to, reach them whenever you need it, if ever need be. But since we have these extension parts, and I do want to run these, the R pipes, this balloon part of it is basically hitting right here against the flange. So like we have the R pipe mocked up, but as you guys can see right there, the flange is in the way, so it keeps hitting the R pipe. So we're trying to figure out what we're gonna do about that. Debating on selling. I might sell the R pipes and just get some regular test pipes, which is basically this part, because I could cut this part off, weld it shut, but then you're basically converting Motor 9 R pipes down to a basic test pipe. So I'm not sure what I'm gonna end up doing on that part, but for now, we're gonna take the Motor 9 R pipes off. I may or may not just grab a sledgehammer and bang the shit out of this thing until it clears, but I haven't figured it out yet. So we're gonna figure out what we're gonna do. If not, I might sell these and trade them for some regular test pipes. Engine is basically ready to go back in, so that's what we're gonna do right now. Our pipes, we'll figure it out, because this is the setup, the initial setup of how the down pipes are supposed to look like, the wastegates. So we're still gonna heat wrap these, get these looking nice up to here, basically only just because we want to be able to access these without the heat wrap being in the way for any time being. Tidy up the wire tuck back here, look at that, looking nice. Coolant pipe polished, and then we got the other side, coolant pipe back on, polished. We got a braided hose for this side now as well, but there we have it, braided hose. This line used to run through the back over the manifold, and it was getting burned up, so we redirected it to this way, so it's more cleaner looking. But there we have it, brand new oil feed lines. Look at that, looking good. And looks like nothing's gonna be in the way to pinch them or anything like that. Should be good to go. Covered up, heat wrapped the He wrapped any cables that are running over close to the manifold. Same with the alternator cable, he wrapped. So got it all looking nice. All right, so we are done putting the engine back in. Huge shout out to Rudy for making this happen. So engine's back in, but we're still far from done because we still need to figure out all the intercooler piping to see how it's gonna work with the G37 front end. So that, you know, the intercooler piping was made for a G35 front end, but we got a G37 front end, so that's gonna be quite a little bit to figure out. That's gonna be a little bit to figure out. Rudy says he has an idea of how that's gonna go down, so he's been playing a bunch of scenarios in his head how he's gonna make it work. He's pretty set on a couple ideas, so he thinks it's gonna be no issues at all. So cool. We are gonna end up cutting the crash bar down the middle just to fit the intercooler in there, and that'll be done. But other than that, all the piping is gonna get polished up. We aren't gonna throw it in it like that. We're gonna polish all that up, make it look good. And then we have the wastegates down here. You guys can see that. Look at that. Open wastegates. It's gonna sound supposedly loud, and you'd be able to hear the turbo spool a lot more that since these are opened up. Next video, we're gonna be tidying up, getting the fuel lines put in and all that stuff, because yeah, we have to fix up change out some of the fuel lines. This hard line, this fuel line, where is it? Yeah, it's right here, which keeps dripping gas apparently. But this thing kind of curves all in here, and this is a hard line, and then you got the evap for, you know, emissions. But we're gonna be cutting this line somewhere like this is the fuel line. The evap line is this one back here, so they're gonna cut this one, plug it up. We're not gonna need it anymore, and then this fuel line is gonna be replaced completely with a brand new braided hose like this one. It's gonna be a full braided hose, and then towards the end it's gonna have a Y fitting to feed both the fuel rails on this thing. New fuel line going all the way up to the top. But here we go. But that's gonna be the end of today's video, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. More progress on the engine. We got it in, turbos are on, finally. I cannot wait for the startup on this thing. I am taking the ECU with me. We're gonna be stopping by Specialty Z in the next video, get that base map tuned, put into the ECU, so once this is done and fully bolted on and everything's ready to go, we could start up the car and actually go out for a drive. So then, you know, you can't wait for that part of the video. That'll be later on, I'm not sure when. Huge shout out to Rudy for taking on this project. He's doing majority of the work on this thing, because I had no idea what I'd be doing if it came, you know, for all this turbo stuff. But follow him on Instagram, SoCalZ Garage, down below. But again, thank you guys for always supporting the channel. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one.